Okay, sixth session, Unit 5, Electrical Instruments and Measurements. In this session, we'll be studying the earth inductor. The main learning objective of this session will be to study the working principle of operation of earth inductor, its principle, working, and then the theoretical background behind the working of earth inductor. The main principle behind the working of earth inductor is electromagnetic induction. Now the construction of earth inductor. On the right side of the screen, you can see the block diagram of earth inductor. It consists of a circular coil C, capital C, of 1000 turns of insulated copper wire, which is wound on a round wooden frame of about 25 cm diameter. The circular frame is capable of rotation about an axis passing through two diametrically opposite points. There is a spring key which allows the coil to rotate through 180 degrees only, and the two ends of the coil are connected to two terminals T1 and T2. The theory behind the working of earth inductor. On the right hand side of the screen, we consider a coil of n turns and having an area A kept in a uniform magnetic field B, and when it is rotated in this uniform magnetic field, the flux associated with the coil changes. Then, according to the Faraday's law, an induced EMF is set up inside the coil. Then the flux linked to the coil, that is psi, is given by N into B into A cos theta, where N is the number of turns of the coil, B is the external magnetic field, and A is the area of the coil. Then the induced EMF is given by capital E is equal to d psi upon dt is equal to, if you substitute the value of psi in this expression, then it will become minus d upon dt into bracket N into B into A cos theta. After differentiation, we get the final expression for the induced EMF is equal to N into B into A sin theta into d theta upon dt. If R is the resistance of a circuit, then induced current is given by I is equal to E upon R. After substituting the value of E from the previous equation, the expression for I will be equal to N into B into A upon R into sin theta into d theta upon dt. Therefore, the charge that flows through the ballistic galvanometer during a small interval of time dt is given by, that is, dq is equal to N into B into A upon R into sin theta into d theta. When the coil is rotated through the half complete rotation, that is 0 degree to 180 degrees, then the total charge passing through the ballistic galvanometer is given by integrating the above equation, that is, integration of dq is equal to integration over 0 to pi N into B into A upon R into sin theta d theta. In the previous equation, the integration of sin theta is equal to minus cos theta. So the expression for Q becomes Q is equal to N into B into A upon R into bracket minus cos theta, bracket complete, 0 is the lower limit and pi is the upper limit. After substituting the values of lower and upper limit, the expression for Q is equal to minus N into B into A upon R into bracket cos pi minus cos 0, bracket complete. The value of cos pi is minus 1, cos 0 is 1, so the value inside the bracket will be minus 2. So minus outside the bracket and minus inside the bracket will become plus. So the final expression for Q is equal to 2 into N into B into A upon R. Now if theta 1 is the corresponding first throw in the ballistic galvanometer, then Q is equal to 2 into N into B into A upon r is equal to k into theta 1 into bracket 1 plus lambda upon 2 bracket complete. Let this equation be 1. In this equation, where k is the ballistic constant and lambda is the logarithmic constant. The content for the presentation is taken from the book Electricity and Magnetism, written by Dr. K. K. Tewari.